Hi all, welcome back to my channel. I did miss you. I really missed you. Thank you all. Here I am, Sunshine and the City Show. Today I wanted to talk to you about Jian Yang. Now he's a guy who taught spies throughout the world for China. Real bad guy, right? Taught them English and communication. Well, 2014 this chap came to New Zealand and he became a member of parliament here, and this spy who teaches English can't talk to English media. He can only talk to Chinese media because his English is not very good, but he taught it to the Chinese spies. This doesn't make sense. Now in 2014 New Zealand intelligence services had looked at him strongly. America have criticised New Zealand, and he's still there. He's still there to this day. We've got rid of a few MPs, but we didn't get rid of Jian Yang. So Jian Yang is still operating as a spy in New Zealand. And with the way the tensions are between Western countries and China, this is crazy. Right now, though, in New Zealand, we have a socialist government that's in power. So this socialist government are very pro-China, although they did do some things. They said, we'll stop them buying land here, we'll stop them investing. But all they did was say, well, if you're a Chinese resident, you can still buy land here, you can still buy up all our companies, it's fine. As long as you live here and you're a resident, we're an accepting country of a lot of new people. And so all these billionaires from China somehow became billionaires overnight when China gave them freshly printed money to buy out the West. And you might think this is nuts. Well, there was a billionaire that came out and said this is exactly what goes on. And the problem is, when China comes back, says, well, gave you this money and you have to give the companies back. Say, well, not doing it. Well, things are going to get very tough for you if you don't. And that's how China works. And they're pretty cruel on their own people. And they even spy on Chinese students overseas. So, you can't blame the Chinese people that are in governments who are giving information. They're doing it for the fear of their life. That they're going to help China and this terrible, terrible America, help it defeat America. So it can come to little countries like New Zealand and Australia that are very Western and a little bit anti-China in New Zealand. So it's like, this is a great country to spy on USA, isn't it? So we're kind of like a stepping stone for spying on the Americans, you see. And America right now are freezing, or said they, with passing of law, are going to freeze assets and seize assets. Freeze and seize. And, they're trying to shut down these embassies and everything else that are pretty much spy agencies. And they're burning documents in one of these embassy things that are going on in USA. And somebody notified the fire department possibly, and because there was a fire. And all these documents would be burning in the courtyard. I mean, it's just crazy how the world is going right now. And so you've got this China versus the West going on in the Pacific nation, right? And you've got Taiwan, who had bought out 250 tanks. And then you got bought missiles. Fortunately, they got to Taiwan. And then America is also doing a Philippine USA joint effort on the close island that's in dispute with China. They're landing elite troops in there. They're building the aircraft runway on the island, and so they can launch from there with any problems. Because China have been destroying Vietnamese fishing ships, like sinking them. And so USA has had to send destroyers in there to protect these fishing boats, and pretty much these little Chinese middle-sized ships are sort of running off with these big destroyers coming in. And it's quite amazing to see. It's worth looking up for guys. That's what guys like, seeing that kind of thing. It sounds terrible, but we've guys like looking at ships and planes and the might of countries and that kind of thing. It's not war yet, it's just Cold War and that kind of thing. And so this Cold War's stepping up. It's getting very, 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 very hot right now. And you've had a New South Wales Member of Parliament of Australia being arrested for receiving money from China. And New Zealand saying, doesn't happen here, people are great, people are wonderful, we trust everyone, we give them the benefit of the doubt, that's what New Zealand's all about. And intelligence services don't really do anything. They don't advise Adern, the leader of this country, what's going on in the world. She's very blind to what's going on with China and how they just what's happening with Nepal, the 3 million Muslims and Christians in camps. She's a little bit anti-religion as well, which doesn't help matters, and she's been pushing this Black Lives Matter in our streets against Trump, which is annoying, because if anything, if we're going to do a protest, we should be protesting about New World Order taking over our lives. We should be protesting about things that matter, but all we're told, what they did is they changed the laws on protests and that, so it made it so difficult to do a protest these days. So you have these New World Order protests that happen, and the Black Lives Matter is one of them. They create civil war, create hatred of America, create hatred of nationalism, because nationalism to the New World Order is racism, because we want you part of the New World Order so you can get microchipped. And microchipped and be a little good little soldier and don't have a job. If you have a job, it's an essential job, but we don't want you to do these other jobs right now. So my job was working alongside media. That job's gone. That job's been replaced by computers. And it's a non-essential job and a computer can do it. So that's the world that we live in right now. We live in a world where computers is going to take over in these non-essential jobs, and if you're not working in those essential jobs, then you don't need to work at all. You can just sit at home while the state looks after you, but then we might be just passing out a few viruses your way to get rid of you. Then we can do a little bit of a check on you. So now that we've got you microchipped and you're an unessential worker, let's follow where you're going. What are you doing? And why do we need so many tradesmen? Why are there so many self-employed people? We'll create a company, and there are companies right now, tradesmen companies. So we'll create tradesmen companies, and all the tradespeople can work there. So we don't really, New World Order don't like self-employment. Sound crazy to you? What does self-employment do? Self-employment creates independence from the system. You don't have to rely on the system. If you're doing wrong, like you're working, say Proud Boys for instance, if they're not self-employed, they were shut down, but then I don't know what happened to Proud Boys, they just disappeared. The reason for Proud Boys was Antifa set up, they were beating up protesters for being racist, which is half the country of America, and they weren't racist, they were just Republicans, right? And Antifa was beating them up, and no one was stopping them. So that's the reason for Proud Boys being started. And they weren't white racists, they were blacks, they were Hispanics. But because of the times and because New World Order and Deep State was more in control than anyone knew, so in 2016 no one knew that Deep State was in charge. No one knew that Deep State ran America. Obama knew. Obama made it so it was even harder, because all he wanted to do was remove the institutions so America was doing the New World Order, but when Trump came into America, they had to pass the mantle from USA to China. So, well, USA's not doing the job anymore. All you New World Order countries, we want you to invest in China, and we'll just keep we're going to run with China right now. And also they want a war. I think they have been wanting a war for a while because they want a war to create stability. So in chaos you create stability, you create order. With every war, you had the Nazi war, right? Where we thought we got rid of the Nazis, but we didn't, because Hitler was still running around. I mean, they still had all these Nazis living in South America and Argentina, Colombia, and Hitler apparently lived in Brazil. So he travelled up and lived in Brazil. So they had submarines going down. There's a documentary on it, all factual. And Hitler lived to a ripe old age. So you think you're getting rid of evil, but you're not. And this is the problem with wars. So we think we're going to get rid of evil. We don't get rid of evil. That's not true. So we live in a world of deception. War gets rid of the good guys. War is, we say, well, let's get rid of the Proud Boys. And you can quietly get rid of them. You say, well, we'll just put that down into war, you know. And that's kind of what I think China were doing in the coronavirus too, because they had all sorts of people being arrested when that coronavirus hit. Did you notice? People disappeared and they've never been seen again. And so this is the problem with their camps that they have, their organ camps, and the organ camps of 3 million, also counting Hong Kong residents who are disappearing. There's a lot that China are doing right now that's just wrong. And thank you for subbing to my channel, people. I really appreciate all the support I'm getting. And yeah, I'll try and give you out those videos. And thank you all.